guys, Adam here, Blackfyre Productions, and I am back for my second Road to Conquest video, where I take the viewers, hopefully you guys, and you follow along with me as I build my first army for Conquest, the last argument of Kings, or also for Conquest First Blood, which is the skirmish version of the rules. So last week I showed you some of the boxes that I have, and then as well as a couple of models that I built, and my plans for the week, which was to build and start painting my army and stuff, which I have done. This week, I'm going to show you the next set of items that I have for my Nords force, so that were sent to me from Parabellum War Games. So thank you very much to them for supplying me with these minis. So they are going to go through those today that I have in front of me, as well as the models that I have already built that were in boxes last week and started putting some paint on. So I'll show you all that stuff as well. So without further ado, let's first jump into the models that I've already painted, as well as put together from my first allotment that I've bought, and then we'll get into unboxing these boxes in front of me. I've already taken the plastic off of them, but I haven't opened them up yet, so I'll be opening them up with you at the same time as first look with myself. So without further ado, let's continue this video. So starting off first with a basic unit, light infantry. I have my stalkers here. I've already painted up 4 of the stalkers, which I'll show you in a second, but I've also built up the other 8 that goes with them. So these guys have been primed. Let me see if I can get this in focus. These guys have been primed, as well as starting to get a single color on them, because I'm just going to batch paint all 8 of them at once. So basically the pants, I'm going to leave the base color that I've primed them, gray, and then the blue on there is like a tealy. I mixed a green and a light blue together, and then I'll add some browns for the various leathers, and then the metallics for the metals, and then I'll give them some nice grimy sort of washes and stuff like that to dirty them up, and then I reduce those washes and sort of get like a that, like I said, that grim dark sort of dirty look to them. But yeah, so that's the base one, that or the primed one, I should say, with just the blue. But these are, I'll show you this guy here, because he has some. I'll show you this stand as a whole. So the stand, that's all of them. So what I did, like I said, I painted the various colors. Get this guy out of there, he's stuck. Uh-oh, there we go. So the pants, they were that gray color. You can see some highlights there on the edge and stuff like that. The fur was a gray color. Didn't do anything to that. I obviously painted up the teal, and then the leathers and the wood. And so the wood was painted one brown. The leathers were another brown. I think I might just make all the leathers the same color as that one. But yeah, so I'm trying to go for a very muted sort of dark color. And then the skin, I did like 3 layers of skin. I think it was like Kislev flesh, and then mixed with flayed one flesh for the second layer, and then a third one with more Kislev flesh, and then a final one which was in that mix that I already had. I added some wraithbone white to it, and then I added some red washes and blue washes and stuff like that. So you can see the blue washes more underneath the skin there to give it more of a darker shaded sort of gritty, dirty sort of look, and then yeah, and then you can see the reds and stuff more in the other areas. But yeah, so that's what I painted up for my stalkers. So there's that one. You got 4 of them done, like I said, then the base as well, or the stand, I should say. I got that guy there. Metallics were just a mix of Stormhost Silver with Lead Belcher, then given a blue-green wash. I mixed the 2 colors together. I think it's like Drakenhof Nightshade and Colia Green Shade, I think is what's Colia? I don't know. Weird names. But yeah, I used a Bestial Brown for the hard leather up here, and then down here I used Steel Legion Drab for the belt and stuff, so that's why there's the 2 different browns on there. Gold was just Retributor Gold. You can see the shield on the back. I don't know, hopefully you can see it there, but I did some green on there over top of the brown. So that brown color that is for the wood is Steel Legion Brown mixed with, I think, some Dawnstone, and then the washes. And the washes that I use for this it's AK Interactive dark brown wash, and then I used MiG-16 engine grime as well, and I reduced those with it is mineral spirits, or I guess white spirits in the UK, to sort of have them run into the recesses and stain the layers on top. And the more you hit it, you can really start seeing the gray here. The more you hit it with a brush in the area with the mineral spirits and everything, it will eat through the layers of the grime and everything on top. But you do it in stages, so you do like the dark brown wash first, hit it once it's dry, hit it with the mineral spirits, or white spirits, I guess, and then let that dry. I put the engine grime on it and do it again to really darken it up. But you can see, like, in there just how dark it is in the recessed areas, or on the underside, that it truly gets. It's almost like a black. But yeah, so I'm trying to go for that dark, grimy feel for these guys. And then have like the color, the tealy color, pop or stand out, because everything else is sort of muted and dull. I want that teal sort of color to pop out. The bases I used 2 different types of Vallejo texture mixed together for the base. I painted up 3 blues. I think it was like Stegodon Scale Green, I think is what the base one was, dry brushed over the texture paint, and then I used Thunderhawk Blue, then mixed some Gray Seer in with Thunderhawk Blue to get the colors up on the base, and then on top I added the Vallejo texture paint for the snow effects, and then I just have some Gamer Grass Turquoise Green Alien Tufts. That's what I used for the tufts on there. I do have others that I'll show you that are white as well that I've been using, but yeah, so let's show you the other guys that I've painted up here. So that's another guy, right? So everything's sort of reduced, like I said, with the mineral spirits. I do put washes, I should say, on the undersides, like, as well. I wash the entire area based off of, like, so this darker or sort of orangey-ish brown color, I did a a black wash over it, where the Steel Legion drab in the belts and stuff like that, I did a brown wash, but I also reduced those with isopropyl 99%. Just to help it sort of break it down and into a nice transition from where I want the base colors to show through into the darker areas. But yeah, so those are my 4 stalkers that I have painted up. I'm not trying to be too neat with them because I want them to look dark and gritty. I will go back to this guy. So the fur, I didn't really do any reduction on it. I wanted the browns to show through, but what I did is I took a very lightly... I don't want to say a dry brush, because it wasn't a dry brush. It wasn't as, I didn't have the pigment taken off as much, but I took some Karak stone and just touched the edges of the fur to give it a little bit of highlight and some definition. But I didn't want to make it pop with like a super bright white fur and everything else. So those are the stalkers that I have painted up thus far. In the next coming week, I hope to finish this unit. That is my goal, and then move on to building some other items that I have, obviously, as you know, as well as maybe working on the Bow Chosen. We'll see. But I'll clear these guys out, show you the next unit with a test model that I painted for it, which are my Bow Chosen, and then show you the characters that I've built and the one that I've painted as well. And here we are with the Bow Chosen. I have built them up and primed them as well. I have painted up a test model, but I haven't touched any of the other ones with any paint except for the primer itself. If you watched the last video, absolutely loved these figures when I saw them. The detail in the resin is fantastic. There is a little bit of flashing on them, but you can easily scrape that off with no issues. So a couple of my favorite minis. I love this lady here. I just think she's friggin' awesome. Looks awesome. So I have a second unit of Bow Chosen that I have purchased that my friend who is getting into the game as well. There's like 6 of us in our local area. So when he made an order, I think it was from 401 Games, these were on sale for 20% off. So I decided to buy a second box because I love them. And so yeah, my idea is in the next one I will switch the arms on these 2 models or minis. So let me see if I can get these into focus. Yeah, there we go. So I will switch the arms on these two minis is my hope. That is what I'm hoping to do. So that way this one who's standing on the rock has the raven falling on her arms, and then she's just going to be the basic huntress. But yeah, again, a couple of my favorite, or well, a bunch of these guys are my favorite minis. So you got her. She's awesome. Absolutely love her. Obviously, the unit leader with the raven is truly what drew me to it, because that is just a great sculpt. I love the look of these Nords guys, and through watching some videos that Parabellum Games, War Games have done with other channels and online and stuff, it looks like these guys are going to be like a fast-paced, in-your-face type of unit. This guy is going to be super fun to paint up, I think. With the bald-headed there, I'll try to give him some extra texture and stuff like that with some red washes and such to make it look like a weathered, worn sort of face. This guy looks cool as well. So, just in the hood and everything else. Yes, in the hood. But the detail on these guys are great. These are the resin models. If you haven't looked into them yet, then this is your first time seeing them. So a little bit more expensive than your plastic models, but I will take it because of how well they look and how good they look. I don't know if you need a second unit of these guys in your army. I guess it's all based off of point levels and stuff, because they're pretty expensive. They're like 240 points for 3 stands of them, which is 12 shots. But they have barrage too at 24 inches, so when you're firing over 12 inches, you cut the amount of shots down by half, so it would be only 12. And I think their volleys a 2, which is what you need to roll equal to or under for when you're shooting. But if you're within 24 shots, even at a volley of 2, you're still looking at, on average, 8 shots getting through. So they're going to be really good. And they don't look like they're any slouches when it comes to combat either, because I think their clash is a 3+. So these guys are like an elite sort of style of unit, not style of unit, but elite unit. So this is the painted one that I've painted up today. Well, over the last couple of days. The last couple of days I've been gone, so out hiking in the woods and that with my family, and so did a nice outing with them. But I started this up, I think, would have been Thursday night, and then finished it this morning before I started filming. And this morning, it's March 21st, so the Sunday after the video, my first video dropped. So my first video dropped on it would have been on the 19th, the Friday, and then when I got home, yeah, I finished this guy off last night / this morning, because I got back late last night, and I just did a little bit of touch-ups on the paint and stuff. But yeah, so this is the first one that I painted up. Obviously the metallics are, like I said, the Stormhill Silver and Lead Belcher mixed together, and then I gave them black wash, a blue-green wash, reduced it a little bit, so some of the core paint still shining through, and then did the 2, I think I only did brown. I only did the dark brown wash from AK Interactive actually on this guy. I don't know if I need the engine grime wash on this, but I only did the dark brown, but it still turned out pretty good. You can see the base with the snow, and I did on the back here, I did some white grass tufts instead. You can see along the feathers and just the bottom of the cloak, you can see like hints of like a dusting of white, and what that is the white diorama effect that I added on here. I took it when it was almost dry, and I dabbed it on to the feathers and other areas that might catch some snow as he's walking through it and everything. But yeah, I don't think they're feathers, but the plume on his helmet here, I did that a corn red, and then gave it a black wash, and then reduced it like with the isopropyl 99%, and then also did the dark brown wash and reduced that as well. So the skin, I don't do the washes with the skin tone, I just do the blue and reds and stuff, and sometimes I'll do like a Gilliman flesh wash over it. But yeah, so that's what I'm aiming for my Bow Chosen, is that style and look. Very dark with all the black and that, then having that tealish sort of color pop through, and then all the grime and everything else. And really the black was super easy because it's black Templar contrast paint with the Nuln Oil wash So black wash over top, and then I did not reduce the wash over top of it because contrast paints are super easy for the alcohol to eat through it when you go to reduce the washes and that, so I just left it as is. I did add, do a little bit of reduction with the brown wash when I added that onto the figure though. So yeah, that is what he's looking like. There is a big chunk of white on there. I didn't want that big chunk on there. That's what he's looking like. And so hoping, and like I even did, I don't know if it shows very well here, but if you look in his eyes, there is a little bit of skin tone in there, but I did a blue wash over it for the shading and everything else. Same with like under the arms and stuff. Let's see if I can get that in focus. There you go. Like the underside there, you can see that there's some blue wash to give him that grimy sort of look, because think Valhalla Rising with how dark and gritty it looks, and that's what I'm trying to get with my Nord's Force. I'll show you the next two guys that I built up, and then I'll get into unboxing these other, and looking at the sprues of these other units that I have here. And here we are with the two character models that I have built from last week. One is painted, obviously, with the Shaman, and then the Blooded is not. So let's pull up the Blooded first. I enjoy how big and muscular and overwhelming this character looks. Super, super awesome. And then I made him even bigger because I put him on some of the cork tile stuff that I have. So super detailed, really, really cool. Going to be a lot of browns on this guy. I don't know what I'm going to do. Obviously, like the loincloth in the center here. Not loincloth, but the cloth. They're going to be the teals. I'll probably try to do maybe some war paint on him, stuff like that. But yeah, so nothing, I just have him built. I'll probably, once I'm done a unit, I'll probably go back to this guy to sort of help break up the amount of non-character units or non-character models that I'm painting up. I'll try to paint him up once I'm done the stalkers, I think. That's the general idea. So that's the first character that I have actually purchased with my lot that I showed off last week, and then built him up. But then I also have my Shaman. Really enjoy the Shaman. I think the Shaman looks fantastic. Very basic, same color scheme as everything else. So you have the teal color that I've darkened up in, and like I'll grab one of the stalkers actually to show you the difference. Like this, I'm just grabbing a basic mini here that I put off to the side. That dark green tealy color comes from this light blue. That's how much the washes and everything else darken it up. And you can see the dark shadows and recessed areas and streaks and everything else on here, so it's really cool. But yeah, let's put that stalker aside so and continue to look at the Shaman. But yeah, wood, again, it was Steel Legion Drab mixed with some Dawnstone to give it like a gray-brown look, because wood, there's very few trees that are pure brown that are out there. So what I went with was that grayish sort of tone to it, and then gave it a brown wash, and then over top of that a green wash, and then yeah, sort of reduced certain areas of it so that way it's sort of the base color showed through. But yeah, so again, put him on some cork and everything else. The beads are just the corn red again with a blue wash over them, and then tried a little bit of highlighting. The hair, I want to say I started as a Carrick stone, and then started building up to like an off-white color and gave it a Griffin sepia wash, really watered down so it wasn't super strong, to give it that yellowish color as well. On the skin, for the head I should say, again I used Kislev as the base, built it up with a couple of layers of adding more and more flayed one flesh, and then for the final highlight, I added in some wraith bone to it to give it more of the whiter color. And as I'm building it up, I'm sort of stippling and trying to give it some extra texture so it's just not flat, because, well, if you look at an old bald head, it's not just a flat color. You'll see like different textures and stuff like that. And these guys being outside and in the cold, rigid north, they're going to have more weathering and like that rougher sort of skin tones and look. So that's what I tried to do. I don't know if you can see his head all that well, but I tried to do a tattoo, and so all I did was That's the Thunderhawk Blue. I'm not the best at freehanding, but I tried to do an arrow with like symbol with like 4 sprouts or roots at the top of his head coming down, and that's just Thunderhawk Blue that I watered down so it's almost like a glaze, and took off the excess paint off the brush so that way it just didn't pool and run, and tried to paint that freehanded. I'm not the best freehander, but I gave it a shot for his war paint. But yeah, so that's what he looks like. You can see the back here. You can see that the grays are all stained because of this inner color, not the fur, but the inside of his cloak. That was gray. I left it gray, the color of priming, and then I gave it the washes and everything. And you can see how when you start reducing the paints and stuff like that, it starts to leave like that sort of dirty, grimy look to it. So, and then you can see again, I did the white powdering at the bottom, so basically let the snow effect dry on the brush tip. Almost like dry brushing, wiped off the large clump of it, and the residue I just brushed onto the bottom and stuff like that. So yeah, really like this model. And you can see I tried to do I don't know if it shows up well here. I'm looking at like a little tiny screen as I'm doing this, but you can see that on the wood there are some, like, I tried to do like some tealy sort of paint color, sort of like what I did with the guy, with that one stalker with the shield on his back. I tried to do the same on this guy here. So yeah, that is my Shaman. Really love that guy. So that is what I've painted up and built in this last week. So I guess in this last week I also received my care package from Parabellum War Games. So let's crack into those guys, because I'm really excited to see what some of these other models look like on sprue, and then hopefully through this upcoming week when I get them built, you know, what they look like there too. And I'm really excited to check out the Shield Biter as well as the Troll. I think those are the Jarl as well. The Jarl looks fantastic. It is a great piece, but those are the 3 that I'm really the most excited to check out. So let's look at the Raiders next. Here we are with the Raiders, for the Nords, obviously. The box art you can see on the front there, fantastic. I love this color of brown on the furs and stuff like that. I will definitely be trying to go for that, and hopefully it showed on the back of the Shaman, and sort of you can see like the patterns of the lighter colors in there and everything else, sort of like weathered and worn and everything. So I really like that, and I'm hoping to have that show when I start doing things. So on the back, there you go. You got your one blown up model and then your whole entire stand. So the only true prospect of advancement for the average Nord is to earn a seat in one of the raiding vessels. Each year, immediately following the Kappa Gorosk, hundreds of free men flock to the southern coastal towns where the longboats dock. Among those that do make the trip, only a few are selected to join the raiding parties. When the plan is to sail in enemy waters and land on enemy shores, isolated and cut off from reinforcements, a captain wants to be surrounded only by the finest, strongest, and most dependable. For those, however, that do make the journey and catch the eye of one of the captains, the sky is the limit. So really cool. I like the flavor on the back. I guess there's another paragraph, but yeah, let's crack in now. All these Raiders, these are another core unit. I think the Blooded can't take them, but I know the Jarl can. So obviously your stand and your 12 bases there. You got your leader sprue. Actually, talking about leader sprues, the stalkers, I had to put a penny underneath the tray or the base just to hold them upright because it was so top heavy he kept on falling over. But yeah, so I've been talking or sort of communicating with people on Facebook and in some of the groups and everything else, and I love that axe. That axe is sexy. So is that sword, in all honesty, but like, who doesn't love a big axe? Yeah, skulls are going to be split. Skulls are going to be split. But I was talking with a few people, and they were saying that, because I mentioned last week that, you know, I lost some bits of detail with these larger connection pieces on the sprue, or from the injection and sites and such. And so people online were saying actually that as Parabellum has continue to produce their models and everything else and their minis, it's gotten better. So and somebody said specifically the trolls are fantastic, and are way better, so I'm really looking forward to that. So here's the other Raider sprues there. Yeah, you can see some flashing on the bottom of these guys and everything else, but lots of weapons. Oh, the axes, can't wait to get these axes. painted up. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, I'm not going to show all 3 of the same sprues because they are the same. But the detail is still fantastic. I love the detail. And I say I love the detail, but it's really funny because at the same time I'm watching a bunch of the guys in my local area. Like I said, there's 6 of us that are playing or getting into the game, and I'm watching 2 of them, and they're like painting up 3 stands of their units in a flash. So like they're both playing 100 Kingdoms, and so like they quickly get the metallics done on their guys, and then they get all the other colors. Where it's like it seems like mine's being taken a little bit more, or taking a little bit more time because of all the skin tones. Because I can't do the skin tones until after I'm done the washes and have them all dry. So I guess we'll see truly when I start batch painting too, how fast I can get through all these guys. I think they've been using airbrushes where I actually haven't ever used an airbrush. I do have one sitting, like a cheap one I should say, with a compressor that I got from Canadian Tire, which is like a depot type store here in Canada. I do have an airbrush from them, cheap, but I can always go to like Michael's or whatever and buy a better quality airbrush, but the compressor is half decent on there. So hopefully I might try to experiment with that, and that might speed up painting some of these guys as well. So let's look at the ogres next. The ogres, or the ogres, I think it's ogres, but yeah, you got your box art there, the 3 big guys. Oh my gosh, these guys are going to be so much fun on the board. Just beastly guys taking a ton of hits and then doing a ton of damage as well. So yeah, so that's what they look like. You got your blown up guy there, and then obviously the flavor text yet again. Bases and stands, I don't need to show you those. 2 different sprues, it looks like, with all the bodies and everything, so you can see all the plate mail and everything there. And then the double mallet, that's going to be interesting. Or is it a single mallet that's flipped, actually, I think is what it is. Yeah, that's going to be the 1/2 of it, never mind. So, yeah, I thought it was a double mallet. I was like, that's interesting. But no, it's just going to be the head for the other side. That's what that's going to be. Nice little pick. I'll definitely do a bunch of weathering on there. You can actually see how it's all chipped and everything already. So that's going to be awesome to paint up. I'll do the wood effect that I was doing on those as well. So that's cool. Really cool. Where's some heads? Did I miss the heads? Here's some heads. You can see one side profile here. But yeah, there. Another one there, so that's neat. Don't know what one the unit leader is, because I haven't looked at the instructions online. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'll hopefully build these up this week. I think out of all these things that I have, the Jarl will be one of the first things that I built up, the Shield Biter, and the Trolls. That's definitely what I will be getting into first for my next sort of expansion of, or next wave of building. So let's look at the Jarl next, because I pulled it off top. It is a resin kit. I have not opened it yet. So that's, sorry for the plastic noise, guys. Sometimes it can be annoying, but like I said, I haven't opened it yet. So let's just see what happens. You got some flashing falling off, but like super easy. Like it just peels right off. I just take like a little bit of a hobby knife and just sort of run it, the dull edge around the side. But yeah, the Jarl looks amazing. Man, that cloak is going to be so much fun to paint with all the weathering on the back. I don't know if you can see that very well. All the weathering and detail work on the back. I'll do the gray probably again here. Or maybe I'll make the cloak teal. I'll probably make the cloak teal and do like the purplish sort of color, which I start with corn red, but on the trim. That is so cool. Nice scenic stand. Stonework, very Viking-esque. Nordic, you know. Love it. Love it. You get your spear. I don't know if you'd call that a harpoon, maybe? Yeah, it looks like a harpoon almost. Spear. And then his horn. So it looks like 4 bits. It looks like a really easy build, to be honest. But I know when I built the Blooded and the Shaman, like the Shaman was 2 pieces, the arms, and then the main torso. So it was pretty sweet. And the Blooded was 4, I want to say. Hands with the sword as 1, leg, torso, and oh, don't want to lose that. And then the ponytail. I think that was it for the Shaman, or for the blooded. So not a lot in these guys, and it's pretty cool. Not a lot of pieces, not a lot of difficulty in building it. And so yeah, but yeah, that's pretty sweet artwork. Love it. Definitely, I'm gonna do the teal for the cloak. So shield biter. Let's see what that is like. There's the artwork. Oh man, that looks so good. I don't know who they had painting their stuff and everything, but it's so nice. He is a unit upgrade expansion. So like basically giving your units better stats. So I think what he does, if I can remember off the top of my head, is the character that's in his unit gets +1 to clash during dual actions, as well as the regiment gets +2 to the charge, I think is what they get. So I just needed a drink. Yeah, so I definitely, I would love to add this guy into the trolls, but it looks like it's gonna be, he's gonna be added into my raiders for the first while. So there's the torso there. Can you see that? There we go. Doesn't look like a super hard build by any chance. I love all the metal on there. I'm gonna have to really dirty that up. The shield, full size shield here. I'll do my, I might do it like a blue and or a teal and white, and then reduce that off of, and so the wood showing underneath and everything else. The head, yeah, the screaming head. Where is it here? I don't know if you can see that very well, but yeah, I love the expression, the yelling and screaming and charging in at his opponents. The sword, and the would be the right pauldron, I guess, with some extra, like, looks like a raven skull maybe, or is it just fur? I'm not sure. Another little piece down there, tassel. Runic stones and skulls. Yup, loving it. I'll probably do them a nice dark gray color, and then do like a light blue engraving, or not, I guess it is an engraving, but light blue in the recessed areas, almost like a glow effect maybe is what I'm thinking. And then the skulls, I will obviously just paint what I did with this, like I did with the Shaman and the other characters that I have painted out that have skulls. I just did it Wraithbone, and then with the weathering it just sort of turned them all like the brownish color, but you know, yeah. There you go. Hair pieces flowing in the wind, long hair. I got none, kind of jealous and envious. But yeah, so that's what he is looking like. I will open up the trolls next after I get this stuff put away, so I'll be right back. Yeah. And here we are with the trolls. I love the look of these guys, and one of my friends, Curtis, he's like, you gotta build them, I want to see them, because he actually is eyeing up a second force. Like I said, he's one of the guys that are working on the 100 Kingdoms, and been chatting with him about it and that, because he's dying to get games in and to try this game out. But his second force, he's thinking of running Nords, and so he really wants to see these guys built in person and such. So let's crack these guys open. Oh, some tape on the inside. Actually, that's what the back looks like right there. So my idea for priming these guys after I have them built is I'm going to prime them a light blue color, and then to show the difference in everything, I am going to do a bunch of blues and purple washes and stuff like that to change up the skin tone. But yeah, so I'll show you the inside of the box next. I'm just got to change up this battery before it dies on us. Alright, sorry about that. Had to change up the battery, like I said. So let's open up the box. I think I showed you the box, but yeah. Obviously, as per normal, the code for the assembly page, or you can just go find it on the website. But yeah, that's what they look like. I do love the artwork for these guys. They just look so menacing. But yeah, so like I said, teal blue, or pale blue is what I'm going to do it up, and then do shades in that for weathering. Oh look, they actually might have instructions here. Like I said, I haven't opened these guys up yet, so neat. I like how they have instructions in them as well, and you just don't have to find them online. But yeah. Oh, Bannerman looks so cool. Looks so cool. All right. Oh, look at this. Completely different sprues. This is awesome. This is really, really cool. Where is... Okay, so I got a comparison here. Pulling out, it looks like the standard spare sprue and leader upgrade. But you can see the detail difference in this. They've clearly went with a different injector or mold press. I don't know what they'd be called, but you can see that it's clearly a, like, even the plastic has a different feel to it. I would almost hazard a guess that these are probably a little bit more detailed, or will be a little bit more detailed than the older ones. And you can see the difference in like the connection sites. This is what people were talking about, and it's really, really awesome. So you can see like that small piece there that connects compared to like these bigger pieces that you have to sort of like cut off. That's awesome. I really actually do love that. That is super cool. Look at all the skulls and everything. They're skulls of their fallen bodies there. Front torsos. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. Well done, Parabellum Games. This is great. Let's see their heads. All the different heads down there. That is cool. Long, dirty beards. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to build these guys up quick. You're going to definitely have to build these guys up quick and go from there. So it looks like there's 3 of the same sort of torso section here, sprues, and then there's 3 of the back side of the torsos, right, and with different weapon options and beard options here. Another head there. That head looks freaky with the tribal mask. I love it. Right up my style. And a giant, I don't know if that's supposed to be a rat or not a rat. That can't be a rat, I don't think. If you guys know what that animal is, maybe it's like, it's not a mole either, a muskrat maybe, something. But that's cool. Dead creature that he's probably gonna eat for food. Love the engravings here, actually. I don't know if you can see that. All the runic sort of engravings there, like so. Really awesome. Loving that. Yeah, I'm definitely probably going to end up building those today after this video at some point, as well as the Jarl and Shield Biter and Raiders. I think those are the next 4 things that I build. Because Curtis and I think, are planning on getting together to do a trial game to learn the rules and that before I start doing battle reports and before we finish painting everything. And so I think we're going to try to get together this week sometime for a trial game. We're aiming at 1,000 points. I know the standard or suggested price is 2,000 points, but we're going to aim for 1,000 points just to learn the rules and get used to it and everything else. And that will probably, I'm hoping, maybe Wednesday of this week, Thursday maybe. I don't know. I'll see what he wants to do. I'm gonna chat to him later on. But yeah, I'm gonna get these guys built for that, and then the Raiders as well, because you don't get a ton at 1,000 points. So what's coming up for me this week, and to stay tuned for next week, I do have more stuff coming in to hopefully finalize an army. I've picked up the 2nd box of Raiders and Ogres. I have picked up a captain as well as the card box, like the army support box with all the different cards and everything. But I actually picked up a 2nd unit of trolls already. I know I just opened these ones up and they're not even built, but I picked up a 2nd unit of trolls because I'm thinking long term I want to have a mixture of stuff. And with reading the rules and everything, it looks like with the +1 resolve, when you have 4 to 6 stands in a regiment, it will give you some extra bonuses and everything. So I picked up a 2nd unit of trolls, and I actually managed to find one of the Founders exclusive diorama stands for the Blooded and Retinue. So I picked that up. That was a pricey bit of money, but I love the way that it looks, and the figures look awesome. And it gives me a 2nd Blooded character that doesn't look like the 1st Blooded, so they don't look identical. So it gives me some variety in case I want to have 2 Blooded characters in my force. So those are coming in this week. I will definitely be showing off the Dio if I have it in time, if it comes in this week. And I film next Sunday for this. I'm hoping to have that so I can show it off And then I'll hopefully be able to show off a bunch more stuff that I have painted. Hopefully the stalkers will be finished, and I might move on to painting up the blooded. So that's what I got for this week's video, guys. If you guys have any suggestions or anything, definitely leave a comment in the video down below. I'm gonna build this up from doing sort of like these reviews and a weekly update on my army, which is the road to conquest part, and then I'll eventually get into battles, battle reports and such, and those will be the sagas of conquest, so the stories and legends of conquest that I'll be putting in with the Nords. Obviously, you can tell that I went with a very Vikings theme to the name, Sagas of Conquest, and that's again because the Nords is an amazing faction. I love the look of them. So yeah, that is it. So guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, ignite your hobby.